Today we got a bunch of stuff to talk about, including answering some of your questions, your comments, and one of them being my thoughts on President Trump receiving an honorary 9th degree in Taekwondo. Stick around. We roll in 10. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Tuesday. It's November 23rd, 2021. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup of coffee. Good morning, Andrew. Look at you joining us live. When was the last time that happened? Good morning, Tommy. Good morning, Jenny. Look at all my friends coming in. Well, Andrew has insomnia. I am sorry, my friend. Yesterday was an interesting day. Started good, got rough, got better. I think most of it was having a hard time coming in from the weekend. Most of the Mondays I've had the last few weeks have been good, but this one was rough. The transition was tough. You know, I spent all day Sunday outside or working, just like getting stuff done around the house, and then to step back in and have to do more convention work. It's a challenge. It's not that I dislike it. It's not that I'm not thrilled with my work. It's just different. And that switch is tough for me. And then some personal stuff popped up. Nothing major, but it just kind of layered on to the point where I went out. I had one meeting out, and I went out to see a client, somebody I've known for 20 years. I've done IT work for this person forever. And he always presents with these really challenging problems and doesn't quite understand that his unique situation is more unique than he thinks. He thinks, well, why isn't there a solution to this? Well, because nobody does it this way. 90 minutes in, I was like, I'm not seeing this. I'm not seeing how to do this. I'm going to go. I'm going to keep thinking about this. I'm sorry, but we've got enough time in, right? Like, his dog remembers me. I've known his dog his entire life. The dog's like 12 now. It's a really sweet dog, a Wheaton Terrier. They snort when they like you. It's a sweet dog. And I realized like my brain was just not there. I just wasn't hitting on all cylinders. So I did what I often do when that's not working. And good morning, Daniel and Stacy and Dennis. Stacy said, good morning. So happy to see that there will be a print book for 12 months. Jenny, I'll let you talk about that in the chat if you want. And if you put something up that seems relevant publicly, I'll make mention of it. Tommy says, hate that. Hate that. Sorry, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. Good morning, Kelly. Kelly says it can be good morning. It can be really hard working from home sometimes. It can. When the pandemic hit and everybody's like, oh, working from home. I was like, I don't think you all understand. I've been doing this a long time. This is not free of downside. Oh, Jeremy, you're overreacting. You're being dramatic, blah, blah, blah. 6 months later, those same people, I'm going to shoot my family. I'm going to look at the divorce rate. Take a look at the divorce rate over the last 18 months. Yikes. Yeah. But you do what you can with what you have where you're at. So what I did, and it's ironic that here I am. I'm someone who writes a book called 12 Months to Health, and I advocate for these things. I am aware of how certain foods will impact my mood, both short-term and long-term. And there are certain things that will kick me out of a funk. One of them being sugar-free Monster energy drinks. I can't explain it. I do know that certain artificial sweeteners will kick me into depression. So it's something with that. It's something in the gut. Changes something. So I got those in a protein bar at the store, and I was good. Well, did that. Good morning, Andy. And then I had a wonderful call with a team member. We talked about a shift in his role, and he was excited. He described it as, this will be fun, and I'm super pumped for that. Good morning, Liz. So we did that, but I conducted that meeting in an odd place. I was in the car in a parking lot at the gun range. Over the last few weeks, months, I've been spending some time shooting. It was finally time to get a more appropriate firearm. I have small hands, and the guns that I have are just, they're too big. I'm a novice shooter. So I went in, bought a new gun. It's always a nice feeling to buy yourself a new toy. And then I went to the range, and I've got a target. I'm going to show you some of the results of my shooting and talk about how there is a martial arts approach to this, as well as some takeaways. Jenny says, so for those of you that don't know, Jenny is in charge of books. Jenny Naylor is in charge of books. And then there's also another Jenny who writes books, and they both spell their first name the same way. That was tough for me at first. I'm not going to lie. So Jenny says, book is set to release on Friday. This is the 12 Months to Health book/program. We will launch at the lowest prices allowed by Amazon. If you would like a reminder on Friday morning when the book is live, message her. She will grab and post a link to both the 12 Months Facebook group and the Amazon sale page. So there you go. 12 Months to Health is the first book we've done that is not entirely for martial artists. And why are we doing it this time of year? Because you can buy it as a gift. If you buy someone a diet book, they'll probably punch you in the face. If you buy someone a self-help book, they'll probably not be super thrilled. But if you buy them 12 Months to Health, and you're saying, but Jeremy, what's the difference? It's hard to explain. But if you buy them 12 Months to Health, it is different. It is part self-help, part health, sprinkling of diet, in a format that is closer to a word of the day calendar than it is a book. And it works. So check it out. Okay. All right. So let me show you these targets. And we're going to go through this quick because you guys left a bunch of stuff I'm going to talk about. Where's my orientation for this? Okay. So you can look at this, and there are two ways to look at shooting. Okay. You can look at it as, oh, you were in the target, you're good. And that's the way a lot of people look at things. Dennis says 40 caliber is a good option for guys with hands our size. 40 was too scary around for me. It's too, goes bang, too loud. So I've, the new firearm is 9mm. So here's a good example. So take a look at this one. They're all in a vertical line. Huh, what's going on there? How about over here where I made a mess, like outside of the paper? Oh, this is where I started. I was nervous. I needed to slow down. I needed to breathe more. The things that make you successful shooting a firearm: proper positioning, practice, breathing, relaxing, focus, right? These are things that make us successful in martial arts. These are things that you would bring into your forums or to competition or to, I don't know, anything, right? And when I work with people at the range, because I don't know if every range is like this, but the folks who the range safety officers, the people who make sure you don't do dumb things, all have a passion for helping people get better. Even though I'm not paying them to teach me, every single one of them who's been in there has offered me tips, even though they know I'm paying the instructors a couple times a month to get better. You know, I'm actually taking lessons. They're like, try this, try that. Really appreciate that. But what about the other side? What is it that exists in firearms that we don't bring into martial arts? It's something I'm actually kind of passionate about and have made several attempts to inject into the martial arts community. It's objective results. That target doesn't move. The size of the bullseye doesn't change. My shooting where I stand doesn't change. Theoretically, if I can shoot the bullseye one day, I can shoot it the next day and the next day and the next day. If you and I spar and I'm able to put my foot, you know, if I can kick you, but I spar somebody else, I may not be able to put my foot there. That becomes much more subjective. Dennis says the magic of slow. Yeah. There's a lot to be said for moving slowly in everything. And that's where I'm at. I'm now at a point where I'm confident enough that I can feel my heart rate coming up, especially if there's somebody next to me, you know, shooting off a shotgun. It gets loud. That I feel my heart rate come up and I set the gun down and I kind of shake it out. And the first time, because I'm so animated in doing this, I'm just like, whew. I'm so animated in doing this that the range officer comes over. Are you okay? Everything all right? Yep. Just felt my heart rate spiking and putting the gun down, take a breath. If you've been training a long time, you know sparring when your heart rate's through the roof or when you're angry, not a good thing. You don't get more accurate when you're angry. So how do you bring objective results into martial arts training? Well, one of the easiest ways, take some colored dots, you know, like the kind of labeling dots you might put on file folders or something, and put them on a heavy bag or a stand-up bag. When we did, it's over there, I'm not going to get up and get it. When we did our kicking paddles, what some people call pork chops, I made one side red and one side blue. So that when you stick it out, you could give someone, okay, red, blue, and just adds a little more diversity to the usefulness, the use case. I wish we had more objective stuff going on in martial arts, because there are people who do not mentally wrap their head well around subjective things. Daniel says, groups look nice. I learned in archery that it doesn't matter where you hit. It's hitting the same place time and time again. And yes, I totally treat my shot sequence like I would a form. Right on. Thanks. And nice to see that you've changed your profile picture to one where we can see your face. Liz says, I grew up competitively shooting, and yes, there are a lot of similarities. The paper tells you exactly what you were doing wrong. So Stacy says, what about board breaking? Yes, I will completely agree. Board breaking is objective. It is one of the things I like about it the most. It's probably the thing I like the most is if you could put your hand through 3 boards today and 4 boards tomorrow, you are clearly making progress. And it has a lot of similarities. I think that is why there are some people who, you know, and I'm not going to speak for you or Laura, for your reasons why you're passionate about board breaking, but I am sure there are some people who appreciate that objectivity, that clearly driven results, data, info, whatever you want to call it. Okay. All right. Let's move on. You guys give me a bunch of stuff, and we got 15 minutes left. Okay. So first off, here, press that button. I don't know, it's being done. Why will you not go away? Go away. There, thank you. All right, November is Native American Heritage Month. These come from Frank, thank you. I like this one. We're going to read this one. You can read the other two on the Facebook group. Treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents. It was loaned to you by your children. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Crazy horse. I'm laughing at Jenny in the chat. The word that's coming up when I read that quote is selfish, and how selfish so many of us are. And that, to me, that goes beyond environmental concerns. It goes beyond anything. I see my existence as a human being as part of an ecosystem of human beings. If you're familiar with the Gaia hypothesis, it says that we can treat the earth as a living organism, as a single entity. But you can also look at it, and go, oh, but look at all these disparate parts. I think you can do the same thing with the human body. I am one person, but to throw it back earlier, there were some things likely going on in the microbiome, in my intestine, that made me depressed, sad, frustrated yesterday. This is not woo. There's plenty of science to back this up. And I consumed something that I knew would feed the critters, and we're something like 1/3 to 1/4 bacteria by weight. Keep that in mind. And it changed things. I also think you can consider the entirety of humanity as a single entity. And in doing that, what is my role? I have to play my part for the good of the organism, the broad organism, the species, however you want to look at it. And that all comes way, way down to try to do more good than harm. Try to do a little bit more than your part. Try to clean up just a little bit more than you dirtied things. Now, of course, that's easier said than done, but it is a pretty simple philosophy, and it's one that I wish more of us would embrace. Good morning, Mark. Have a good day, Andy. Tommy's half Algonquin. Jenny says, I have a post coming up on the 12 Months to Health group on the topic of what we eat affecting our mental health. Way to be on my vibe. Well, hey, no surprise, we work closely together. Since I was young, I had this attitude. My job is to act in such a way that if everyone did what I was doing, the world would be better. It becomes a really simple filter to run everything through. What if everyone on Earth did this? That wouldn't be good. Or, oh, that would be good. When I pick up a piece of trash along the side of the road, if everybody did that, there'd be no trash. When I spend some time with a friend who's going through something rough, even though I'm tired and I'm going through something rough or I'm busy, if we all did that, there'd probably be fewer people who take their lives. Look for the opportunities to do just a little bit more than your share. All right, moving on. Stacy asks, what are you most grateful for in your martial arts journey, business or personal? And what are you most thankful for in general? Great question on the subject of thanks, given that it is Thanksgiving week here in the United States. Personally, I think what I am most grateful for is this home base, this home, this land, the things in it, because it's the combination of me plus all these things here that lead to everything else. This show comes from here. Some of my food comes from here. I sleep here. I love here. Here is great. And I've had the opportunity to make this home something that I really enjoy, something that I love. I've made improvements to this home. And it takes care of me, shelters me, keeps me safe. Doesn't cost me much money to maintain. Thank you. Now, professionally, or let's say in terms of martial arts, what am I most grateful for? I am grateful that I had an idea that we could look at martial arts a different way. And I wasn't alone. I'm grateful that the time and the money that I've invested in whistlekick is starting to see a return, because people get where I'm coming from. And that's been the biggest challenge in this business, is that most people don't get it, because unless you've been in it for decades, it's hard to see the subtle changes that I am hell-bent on creating. Investors, banks, they don't get it. Most of them, their experience with martial arts is, oh, my kid, was a blue belt. They don't see the opportunity to literally change the world. I do. Some of you do. That's why you're here. So that's what I'm grateful for in the martial arts. And the second thing, if I was going to make a list, would be all the great people that I get to call friends and get to train with and know that we are on at least partially the same page. Andrew says, I'm most thankful in my training, the friends I've made. Liz says, we are grateful you had an idea too. Thank you. Tommy, agreed. Jenny, ditto. All right. And so now we're going to flip over to what will likely end up being a horrendously polarizing, probably not in this group, but just because of the way I'm going to present it, but a horrendously polarizing subject in the world of martial arts. Thank you to Daniel for bringing this. Former President Donald Trump was awarded an honorary 9th degree black belt in Taekwondo yesterday. Trying to ignore the person, who is obviously a polarizing figure, what are your thoughts on awarding rank, especially high ranks, to people who have never trained or done anything to further the arts? So I'm going to answer that, and then I'm going to answer a little bit about a related subject there. No, nothing to be sorry for, man. Okay. Honorary rank is like every other honorarium. If I receive an honorary PhD, everybody knows that that's just an honorary title. It has nothing to do with the academic work that I've done or not done. It's a big old thank you. Honorary PhDs are awarded by universities to people who maybe are famous, and it's mostly marketing. If I'm not going to come speak at your school unless you award me an honorary PhD, my ego is probably out of check, and to comply with that, whatever. Okay. Same thing with honorary rank. I have an honorary black belt in one school, and they did that because they wanted me to participate in their black belt test and help them. But they had a rule that only their black belts could administer their test. It was a workaround. At no point did anybody think it was anything else. I was hyper aware of it. And later I enrolled in that school and started training. So I have probably the only person in that school to ever hold 2 different ranks at the same time. I have an honorary black belt and a blue with a black stripe. Now, yesterday on YouTube, this is when I found out about this thing, this honorarium. Yesterday's episode of Martial Arts Radio, which hopefully you've checked out, there was a comment that went up that basically said, because the one of the quotes listed, the images that we put up, said something about Taekwondo and people ripping on Taekwondo. It was from the guest. And somebody commented and basically said, this is why people rip on Taekwondo. Do people think that Taekwondo is a single organization with like one governing body? That it's a single style, and like 3 people said, hey, we should do this, and the rest of the board of directors said, yes, we should do this, and that was it? I could award someone a martial arts rank of on here. Guess what? Guess what? I could award someone an honorary Taekwondo 9th Dan. Does it make it legitimate? Does it make it worthwhile? Is it worth talking about? Is it worth getting bent out of shape over? No, it's not. It's like a key to the city or anything else. I will guarantee 95% of the flack, by volume, not by frequency, that comes out of this event will be from other martial artists. It's a waste of time. If you get bent out of shape because somebody received honorary rank, and you don't get the same level of bent out of shape when the media talks about a school owner who molests children, I don't want to hear from you. I don't think you have anything to stand on. I think your priorities are out of whack. Andrew, so let's go through some of the feedback. Andrew says, but you likely didn't call yourself a black belt in that school. No, I didn't. Nor do I see that he, beyond that photo op, is going to go around and let me just say, I am far from a supporter of Donald Trump. Okay, if anybody wants to have a discussion about politics, we'll do it offline. I'm not doing that online. That's not what I do. Okay, but I will say I am very spun up on politics, despite the fact that I consider myself apolitical. Outside of that photo op, which did that look like an official high-level photo opportunity to you? It's a terrible photo. It's somebody taking a picture probably with their phone. Stacy, back me up on this. It's not a good shot. This is making a mountain out of a molehill. Tommy says, having a hard time wrapping my head around that. 9th degree. I don't know if you know, Tommy. 9th is the highest rank in Taekwondo. So it'd be like a karate 10th. Jenny says, and did it have to be a 9th degree? Well, if you're going to convey an honor to someone, and it's going to be a big honor, you would generally do the biggest honor, right? People aren't giving out honorary master's degrees. Here, have an honorary associates, right? It doesn't work in the same way. Daniel says, I have zero issue with someone like you, me, who spends their life furthering their arts holding an honorary rank. I don't even talk about it. When people ask me how many black belts I have, I don't include it. It's not on the list. Because I may have earned an honorary rank, but that is not the same. I don't know the material, not at a black belt level. Stacy says, and you wouldn't wear your gi to Congress? No, I would not. All right. He actually said if president again, he'd wear it to Congress. Oi. He has said many things that he has not done that have not come true. I wouldn't worry about it. Jenny says, I could go online and become a minister in the Universal Life Church. That doesn't make me religious later. Not necessarily. And Liz says, okay, devil's advocate, is it possible that he didn't instigate it? I can't imagine he solicited Taekwondo rank. I'm sure it was, hey, can we do this? And there was probably a financial exchange. Hey, we'll make a donation to your whatever if we can have this photo op. Because I'll bet that they wanted to put that up in their school or organization or whatever. I don't even know the group that did it. I did like 8 seconds of research and found nothing. Dennis says, social media is great for making mountains out of molehills. I agree. Stacy says, how can you see those? I thought I deleted them. Well, they may be deleted on Facebook, but remember, I use StreamYard. It pulls stuff in. It caches it here. Don't ever say anything you don't want. Don't ever say anything and then try to take it back. I can see it all. So let's put aside who it is for a moment, okay? Because, yeah, he is a polarizing figure. He's probably the most polarizing figure alive. Let's not let him polarize martial arts. We're already polarized enough. We've got enough stuff to argue about. I'm trying to reduce the amount of crap we argue about. Don't let one person, well, I guess it's 2 people. Don't let the person who awarded him this rank and he himself, don't let them have a negative impact on this thing that we love. I could go out right now and promote that tree to something, and it has literally zero impact on your life, your training, or anything at all. All it says is that the media has a passion for sharing divisive information about divisive people because we talk about it. You don't want to hear about these kind of subjects anymore? Don't engage with them. You don't want to hear about these kinds of people anymore? Don't engage with them. It's that simple. CNN's ratings dropped 40% after he left office. That's all you need to know. Okay. All right, I'm going to read Liz's comment because it adds a little bit. He is a public figure and people nowadays don't take rejection well. So even if he didn't agree, he might have been in a tough place. What would have happened if somebody came up to, hey, we want to do this for you? And he's like, no, I don't want that. Then we would have had a different story that would have been just as divisive. And so, Andrew, we're going to end on this. This is a much more enjoyable, entertaining topic. We're running a little long. All right. So Andrew says, instead of talking about this, let's talk about how the new Facebook group I'm in will help my martial arts school grow. We did an episode. It was over the summer because I remember we recorded it out in the warehouse, and it's way too cold to record out there now. It's like 28. It was 28 when I woke up. And I think we called it Why Most Martial Arts School Marketing Sucks. Andrew was invited to a group about that was ultimately the goal of the group was for a consultant to sell him either consulting time or a program or something to help his martial arts school grow. He sent me, actually, Andrew, are you okay if I read these messages? Because they're kind of fun. I'm going to bring them up. I'm going to wait for him to respond. I'm assuming he's going to say yes. Yeah, he says yes. Okay. So I'm going to read these to you, and then we'll call it a day. And I'm not going to read the name of the person. Andrew, welcome to my martial arts business strategies group. How long have you been running your school? Andrew, right now I do not. Are you opening a school again then in the future? Perhaps, though, will be a new location. What were you looking to get out of the martial arts business strategies group so we can help you best? No idea. You invited me, so I joined to see what it was. I co-host the largest and #1 ranked traditional martial arts podcast in the world, so I'm not terribly worried about it. No problem. We are here to help those who want help with growth, innovation, and building a legacy. Cool. Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio Podcast. Heard of it? No, I have not. But I don't really do martial arts podcasts. Mostly big business and marketing is where I lurk. Gotcha. And so like an hour later, may I ask what style of martial arts you train in? And he teaches some form of combatives. Andrew, cool. Here's a great episode of our show we did. Check it out. My most martial arts school marketing sucks. And he says, will do. Please do. I'd love to get your feedback on it. And so then we messaged a bit, Andrew and I. And I said, oh my God, he says he just watched it. I said, okay, act excited. Ask him what he thought of the end. Be vague. And so he says, good episode. I teach much of this as we find people simply don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to articulate what special things they do and what they really offer. Andrew says, really? That's awesome that you watched. What did you think of the end? I'm still getting to the end. Most are Facebook marketing groups. I help people, 1, to speak about what they do and stand out. 2, get into high-ticket corporate events and tap into those groups who never train. But I agree. I do this because the solutions were not out there, and most marketing is junk. Does he not realize we're talking about him? Oh, I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope you all enjoy your day. I hope you go off into the world and do wonderful things and promote apple trees to 9th dawn and have hysterical conversations with people who, I'm not saying this person is, but maybe little more than a scam. Actually, if anybody actually wants help growing their school, we have some resources. We got some people. Let me know. What am I doing? Oh, I'm going to get my teeth cleaned at 8:30 because they called me yesterday and they're like, hey, you know how we keep kicking out your dental cleaning? Yeah, we got to cancel that one too. Do you want to come today or tomorrow? We have like one opening each day. I guess I'll be there tomorrow. Hey, Justin, can we move our meeting? So that's what's going on. Liz says my coffee pot is my 9th dawn. Daniel says these came at like the same time. My dog is now a 14th dawn. Oh, I love that the two of you had almost the same idea at the same time. That's hysterical. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm going to go. This was fun. This was a great episode. You know why it was a great episode? I'm just going to remind you of this. The more material we have in the Facebook group, the more we get to mix it up, and the more likely we are to have something that hits, that makes everybody feel really engaged. So when I post that hey, leave Wednesday's comments here, please come up with something. Thank you. Thanks for all you do. And if you appreciate what we do, a couple things you can do. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick, or go to whistlekick.com, use the code FIRSTCUP15. Don't buy anything this week. Wait. Just wait. Friday and Monday, those are the 2 days. There'll be newsletters, there'll be social media posts. Wait. Okay. Here's the Facebook group. And remember, we do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you're watching live, thank you. If you're watching later or listening later, thank you as well. I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a fantabulous day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.